Hey guys, so today I am going to do my flawless skin makeup. I wanted to do it today because I have a major breakout happening. See, here, and here, and I have some here, and I have a lot of redness in my cheeks, and I really hope you guys can see that. The redness in my cheeks, things like that, because I really wanted to do a flawless skin video, mostly because I see a lot of videos on YouTube where people go, oh, I have the most intensely bad skin, and then you can't see anything wrong with their skin. So I wanted to do this one just to show you guys I do have bad skin. Whew. The first thing I start with is my Fast Response Eye Cream from MAC. I've already washed my face and put my moisturizer on. I use Cetaphil. I'm going to do a product review on both Cetaphil and all my favorite skincare products, so I'm not going to touch too much on that today. I put two little dots right there, and then I blend them out. And I really like MAC's Fast Response Eye Cream. I don't find it really does much for my eyes in terms of moisturization. It just kind of plumps them up when they look really dry and dehydrated, but it doesn't really last that long. And then I use MAC's Matte. Now I use this as a primer. It's very similar to, say, Smashbox, their photo primer, photo finish primer, or Makeup Forever's All Matte or something like that. I get a nice little blob on my hand. Start with my nose. I have some pores right in here that I like to fill in almost with this stuff. And just kind of spread it out all over my face, making sure I blend it in really well. And I use this as a primer because it's cheaper than all the other ones. You don't necessarily get as much in this little tube, but I really like it. The other thing, I have blackheads around my lips because I wear lip gloss all the time, and I like to fill them in because otherwise if I wear lip liner, it looks funny. Probably more than you guys needed to know about me, I'm sure. Anyway, so there is my matte. Then I take MAC's Select Sheer Cover-Up. Sometimes I use that, sometimes, and I didn't want to put this in my video because you can, it's called Cinema Secrets. Show you, this is the palette. It's hard to find. I find it in Vancouver. You can get them in Calgary as well, and they're a little bit harder to find. And I love them, as you can tell. Very similar to, say, Makeup Forever. I use that on days when my skin is really, really bad. I'm more recovering from a breakout. So I put my concealer in areas that I really like to cover, such as this redness right here. And I just use my fingers. I haven't used any brushes yet. And right in the crease of my nose, right in here. And because I have that matte stuff on, it glides on a lot easier, and it spreads a lot easier as well. So, I'm going to use this underneath my eyes. And you don't need too much. When I put it on my finger, I'm literally putting about that much on there, and then just kind of dabbling it on the spots and blending it out. And then under my eyes, into all the little crevices, just making sure that I have it everywhere that I need it. Okay? And then my next step is my foundation. So lately, I've been using MAC's 109 brush. Hopefully you can see that. I've been using this on the recommendation of a couple different YouTube gurus and some people on makeupgeek.com. I use a bunch of different brushes. I used this one at one time. This is MAC's 187, 188, something like that. I also used to use a kabuki brush. Hold on. One like this, or I have the pink kabuki brush. And what I would do is I would just get my foundation and kind of stipple it on with a regular foundation brush like this. And then I would buff it out with a kabuki brush or spray it with some Fix Plus. So that's an option too. Right now I'm using the 109, trying it out. I like it so far. It's just a little bit small for me. So I take one pump of my Makeup Forever, get a little bit on the bristles, just kind of dip it in there, and then start buffing it into the cheeks. And really get into the nose and buff it out and into your hairline and really buff it out because you really don't want to see makeup anywhere. fuzz out those lines. A really important thing is a shade match. One thing I do recommend, and all the Sephora people are going to hate me for this, but it's going to a counter. Unless you can only get it at Sephora, try and go to the counters at, here in Canada it would be like the Bay or Sears. In the States I think it's like Nordstrom, Macy's, Dillard's, those kind of places. Just because they're trained on their counter. They know more about all of their products. If you go to Dior counter, they know more about Dior than the girls at Sephora know about Dior. I'll tell you that much. So I took one more little pump, and again, just buffing it onto my skin everywhere. And this is my HD foundation from Makeup Forever. Sorry, I didn't really go over that. I really like this foundation because it goes on very naturally. I have oily skin in the T-zone, and then I have drier skin on my cheeks, and I find that this works for all the areas of my face. So, now that it's buffed in, I'm talking, so I'm buffing a lot more. This is my one problem with the 109, is that there's little hairs that get on my face, and I'm not used to that. Not my favorite. That's my only one criticism, and I've washed it. A lot of people have said, oh, you just need to wash it. I've washed it. It hasn't done anything. Then I'm using this NYC powder, New York color. It's a loose, translucent face powder. I love this stuff because my number one complaint about powder is that it looks like powder, and I don't like that. I don't like to look like I'm wearing powder. I still like to look dewy and fresh. So what I like to do is put a very small amount of powder in the lid, circle my brush in there, and tap it off. Kind of like Bare Minerals, even Mineral Veil or Makeup Forever's HD powder. Don't like them as much. I still feel like I can see them. So I just buff this powder all over my face, onto my eyes, everywhere. Very light coating because I don't like to look powdery. It just sets your makeup and it'll make it last all day. Then, if I feel like I'm looking too powdery, I use my Fix Plus. I put it on my 187. I think that's what this is. It could be the 188, and I'm a big liar. I honestly don't know. Put a little bit on there. Just kind of spray it on there. So there's only a tiny little bit. And then just stipple it. And once it doesn't feel too wet anymore, start buffing it in. Oh, one thing to mention, I don't have a lisp. It's the camera. It's been doing this to me. I don't know why. I figured quality was better than sound. Like, my video before was super bad quality. And I figured you guys want to see better. But I don't have a lisp. It's just my camera. I apologize. Let me know if it bugs you more that I have a lisp or that the quality is bad. Because I can't decide what's better or worse or whatever. So that's my foundation. That's my flawless foundation look. To do cheeks and things like that, I will be right back.